Coming up on today's Cowboys Report, we'll talk Ashton Jeanty here for the Dallas Cowboys. He wants to be a Cowboy. And some Cowboys trade rumors, some pretty intriguing ones that we'll get to on today's show. Before we get to that, if you haven't already, hit that sub button. YouTube.com/CowboysTV. More free Cowboys YouTube videos each and every single day. Let's talk Ashton Jeanty. He has made it clear multiple different times now. He wants to be a Dallas Cowboy. Sometimes that happens. Micah Parsons. Sometimes it does not, like a Myles Garrett. Here's what Jeanty said most recently. I would love to play for the Cowboys. It'd be like a dream come true. I used to play in their practice stadium for all our home games in high school. It would just feel like I'm at home, honestly. I ain't going to say too much, but Dallas always had a good running back. When they have a good running back, they play a lot better. Know what I'm saying? Jeanty, originally from Florida, but spent a lot of his time in the Frisco area, basically, I think, depending on how much you really let positional value stuff influence you and whatnot, this is a really great football player. This is a guy that's probably going to be a consensus top 5, top 10 player on the boards. Went to Lone Star High School up in Frisco, Texas, after being born in Jacksonville, Florida. I believe he was an Army brat growing up, I believe is what his background was there. And the Cowboys have been linked so heavily because they've got massive question marks in the running back room. Rico Dowdle, who played very well this year for the Cowboys, but isn't a Jeanty caliber player/prospect, is a free agent. So that leaves Deuce Vaughn. Malik Davis is re-signed on a futures deal, but he was a practice squad player pretty much his entire career. And Hunter Lipke, the fullback. So, yeah, running back is obviously an area of you're going to have some questions and some desire to add some talent there. So if he's there, and I don't know if he's going to be, we'll talk about that here in a little bit, but if Jeanty's there at number 12 for you, would you take him in round 1? Why for yes, N for no? Let me know in the comments section of today's video. It is the pinned comment on today's show, so if the ad comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. Now again, if Jeanty's there, he's going to be the best player on the board. The numbers are incredible. The play is incredible. He's what I call one of the easy eval guys of like, you can just show someone who hasn't really watched football before, like give him just 10 plays in a row to watch and say, watch this guy. And it's like, he's really good, isn't he? It just that happens 5 to 10 guys every year. It's like, don't overthink this one. Now, there are absolutely very valid positional value concerns. And in many ways, I'll stick with this analogy, running backs are they're fuel to your fire. You got a nice little fire going, you toss some gasoline on that, boom, it explodes. Look at the Eagles with Saquon Barkley this year. If you don't have the right situation, you throw gasoline on something, all it does is smell. And that was the Giants and Saquon Barkley. Jeanty can have that type of impact. If you have faith in your offensive line and your offense overall, your coaching staff, everything else, if you feel good about your current organizational structure on that side of the ball, if you fill your needs in free agency, you can get a lot more people on board with drafting Jeanty in round 1 because it can elevate, it can raise your ceiling. Offensive linemen are the floor. It's tough to have to be a good back behind a bad offensive line. It's easy to be a fine back behind a good offensive line, but you can't be a great back unless you have at least a positive offensive line, and a player like Jeanty can become a truly elite back. Now, I think there are a couple Jeanty fits that could happen before the Cowboys go on the clock at number 12. The Raiders at number 6, depending on what they do at quarterback, stand out as an obvious issue. The Saints at 9, my boy Trace wants him. I'd be surprised. They just paid Alvin Kamara. The Bears at 10, if they've hired Ben Johnson, if they want to embrace the DeAndre Swift, Ashton Jeanty, David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs combination, that I don't think would surprise too many people. And a lot of people have been like, the 49ers. Like, that's not what you like. McCaffrey's hurt. I'd be surprised if they spent a first-round pick on a running back. But people have mentioned them, so felt worth adding here as well. Today's show is made possible by GameTime. GameTime's got a new feature called GameTime Picks. Makes getting tickets for events even easier. It filters out the fluff, only show you incredible deals on great seats. so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets to find the best value. It is curation to help you find better value on sports, concerts, comedy, theater, everything else in between. The all-in pricing feature shows total cost up front, so there are no surprise fees at checkout. Game Time guarantee is this. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Download the Game Time app today, create your account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. But again, create your account, redeem code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply, but go download Game Time today for last-minute tickets, lowest price, all guaranteed. Link and the promo code will be in the comments section and the description of today's show. Let's talk trade rumors here. PFF listing Cowboys defensive tackle Mazi Smith as one of their top trade candidates in the NFL this offseason. To which I say, press X to doubt for a variety of reasons here. Now, a big point PFF made, which is accurate, was, boy, Mazi's been a disappointment for the Dallas Cowboys, hasn't he? Better this year, though the bar was very low. More tackles, more TFLs, pressure rate dipped in part because they were asking different things out of him. I will say, and this is the one thing that you can get more positive thoughts on for Mazi, very obviously, and I don't think anyone watching goes, he has been as good as I hoped he was going to be. No one thinks that. We did see real growth down the stretch. That PFF run grade, as low as it was, he had one game in the back half of the year that wasn't higher than his overall grade. So we saw growth as the year went on. I'm hoping for a real, a real offseason of development and not rehab would benefit Mazi Smith. I also do not trust him right now because he hasn't shown us enough to trust him there. So what is your confidence level in Mazi Smith? Scale it for me from 1 to 10 in the comments section of today's show. Now, a big negative on this idea is the money. Mazi doesn't cost you very much this upcoming year. It's $3.62 million. That's it. You lose money, though, if you cut him. Minus $4.22 million before June 1st. It is minus $2.56 after June 1st. You could trade him right now and save less than $300,000 on the salary cap, and then you're counting somebody else that is going to count for the top 51, so you don't actually save any money. You can save about $2 trading him after June 1st. That might be plausible, but I look at this defensive tackle room right now, and for as much lack of faith I have in Mazi Smith, and I hope he's better like he was down the stretch this year, that's the one guy that I think I can play on an NFL team right now. I can't play Denzel Jackson. I don't think I can really play Justin Rogers either. So given all of my numbers issues at the defensive tackle spot, I'm going to hold on to Mazi Smith right now. And I will add more talent. And I won't have to rely on him being my number 2 defensive tackle. I will add 2 to 3 guys, depending on what I do with Osa Odigizua as well. One more trade idea from Bleacher Report. They again advocating for a Travis Etienne trade. Now, look, I had mentioned this to trade on. I was more intrigued by it because we hadn't seen Rico Dowdle take a step forward the way that he did down the stretch. Now, I'm actually not nearly as interested in it because I don't have the same level of team control. I think I can find a running back as well. I don't know if I need to go down that route the same way I thought if you want to re-sign Rico. If you don't re-sign Rico, maybe things change a little bit there. But name a player who you want the Dallas Cowboys to trade for. Let me know in the comments section of today's show. Etienne's numbers, they fell off a cliff this year, didn't they? And injury was a pretty big part of this overall for Etienne. Tank Bigsby finally emerged for Jacksonville. The numbers down the stretch for Etienne, really looking beyond the first couple games of the season. He went over 50 yards just once, and it was one of the 2 times he got more than 13 carries in a game. I think the injuries were a big factor there. I like the player. I don't know if I want to pay him $6.14 million. Now, he's due a fully guaranteed $6.14 for the 2025 campaign on that 5th-year option, by the way. But that's kind of a lot to pay. Like, I don't think if I wanted to re-sign Rico Dowdle, he might count like $3 million on the salary cap for this year. I think that's all it's going to cost. I don't think it's going to be very expensive. So I would be a bit more inclined to just say I'll ride it out with Rico Dowdle and draft somebody on day 2 instead.